My only son, Ryan, and I always tried to build our relationship on mutual respect and common sense. Not long ago, he turned 25. He graduated from college, landed an entry level job as a logistics coordinator, and 6 months ago proudly walked his sweetheart down the aisle. Madison was 22, a pretty girl with long eyelashes, perfectly styled hair, and an associate degree from a community college that mostly sat on a shelf collecting dust. Before the wedding, she worked part time as a receptionist at a tanning salon. My husband and I are old school people. We paid for the wedding, helped with the down payment on a modest starter condo, and finally exhaled, thinking our parenting duties were largely complete and that we could start enjoying life for ourselves. Then came the most ridiculous conversation I've ever had. It happened on a Sunday. Ryan and Madison came over for our usual family dinner. I had roasted a turkey, made a couple of salads, and baked my famous apple pie. We were drinking coffee and chatting about everyday things when Ryan pushed away his empty plate, cleared his throat dramatically, wrapped an arm around his wife, and announced, "Mom, Dad, Madison, and I have made an important adult decision." Madison lowered her eyes and smiled modestly. Tomorrow she's quitting her job. My husband and I exchanged a glance. "That's your choice," my husband said calmly. "If you're sure your salary can cover the mortgage, utilities, groceries, insurance, and everything else, who are we to argue?" But Ryan looked at us with the confidence of a man who believed he had unlocked the secrets of the universe. "Dad, you're missing the point," he said. "Madison wasn't meant to work for somebody else. A woman should stay in her feminine energy. She should create peace at home, inspire her husband, and support his vision. If she's exhausted from work, it blocks success." I felt my left eye twitch. "Interesting," I replied. "And how exactly are we planning to maintain this lifestyle?" Ryan grinned. "That's where you come in." The way he said it made my stomach drop. "You guys already own your house. Dad has a good income. You do well, too. We've done the math." Whenever someone starts a sentence with, "we've done the math," trouble is usually coming. Ryan continued enthusiastically. "If you cover our mortgage payment and help us with about $2,000 a month for Madison's essentials, Pilates, nails, self-care, coffee with friends, things like that, then I'll finally be able to focus on personal growth and bigger opportunities instead of stressing about money." I slowly turned toward Madison. She looked completely serious, not embarrassed, not uncomfortable, serious, as if becoming a wife automatically came with a lifetime subscription to financial support from her in-laws. I didn't yell, I didn't lecture, I didn't remind them how my husband and I worked overtime for years to build everything we had. Instead, an almost frightening calm settled over me. I dabbed my lips with a napkin and smiled. "Ryan, sweetheart, that is an absolutely brilliant plan." His face lit up. "Really?" "Oh, absolutely. In fact, your father and I have some exciting news, too." My husband immediately knew where this was going and nearly choked, trying not to laugh. I continued. "You see, my feminine energy has been running dangerously low." Madison's smile froze. "For 25 years, I've worked as a senior accountant. My financial flow is completely depleted. Therefore, tomorrow, I'm quitting my job." The room went silent. Ryan blinked. "What?" "Yes, I've decided to stay home, make crafts, drink tea, and focus on self-care. I'll spend my days protecting my peace." "Mom," "and your father," I continued, "has realized he's tired of being trapped in the corporate system." My husband nodded solemnly. "That's right. I'm retiring immediately. I plan to spend my days fishing and reconnecting with nature." Ryan stared at us. "Are you serious?" "Completely, which means you're now the sole provider of the family." "What family?" "Ours." I smiled warmly. "We expect a monthly contribution. Nothing unreasonable. Maybe $4,000. Your father needs new fishing equipment. I need spa treatments. After all, we're family. Families support each other." The silence that followed could have frozen lava. Madison looked as if she'd bitten into a lemon. Ryan sat there with his mouth hanging open. Finally, he exploded. Are you kidding me? That's insane. I can't afford that. We're barely making it ourselves. I nodded sympathetically. Exactly. He opened his mouth and then closed it. I continued. Ryan, calling laziness and financial dependence personal growth doesn't magically transform them into virtues. We're not lazy. Then you'll be fine. The conversation ended shortly afterward. Before they left, I took the containers of leftovers I had packed for them and poured everything back into my own dishes. Free catering services have been discontinued, I informed them. Ryan looked horrified. I held out my hand. And while we're making changes, please leave the key to your father's garage. Adults should learn to stand on their own feet. They stormed out. Madison forgot to say goodbye. Ryan announced from the doorway that we were crushing his dreams and destroying traditional values. Then they left. A month passed. Something remarkable happened. Ryan discovered that groceries cost money. Mortgage payments don't disappear through positive thinking, and personal growth becomes much less exciting when you're eating instant noodles every night. He picked up a second job on weekends. Madison's feminine energy somehow failed to pay the electric bill. Miraculously, she returned to work at the tanning salon. Funny how reality works. The truth is that too many perfectly healthy adults spend hours online listening to influencers talk about soft life, divine feminine energy, and provider lifestyles, while conveniently ignoring one small detail: someone has to pay for it. And if your entire life plan depends on turning your parents into an ATM, that's not empowerment, that's dependency wrapped in trendy buzzwords. So I'm curious, how would you react if your grown son brought home his wife and announced that you were expected to finance their lifestyle so she could stay in her feminine energy? Would you keep paying to avoid conflict, or would you give them the same crash course in adulthood that we did?